Hi, and welcome back to 1911 Woodworks. In today's video, I'm going to be making this farmhouse-style Christmas tree. So let's get into it. Before I get started on cutting any pieces, I'm going to root through my scrap pile of pallet wood that I've already got put to the side, and I'm going to send it through my thicknesser. This is basically my own preference, but I like to get all my pieces of wood to a thickness of 1.5 centimetres. If you haven't got a thicknesser and you're just ripping down pallets and you just want to leave it as it is, that's totally fine. This is your project, this is your build, so you can make it exactly how you want to make it. But I'm going to head over to the thicknesser and get that done now. Before I use my thicknesser, I always like to give it a quick spray with some wood silk. It just helps when I'm putting pieces of wood through the thicknesser that they just glide through nicely, and it gives them all a nice smooth finish. So yeah, I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to get them all to 1.5 centimetres. Right, I've got all my wood planed down to 1.5 centimetres. Now it's time to get the table saw out and start ripping it down. So the insert pieces of the tree, I'm going to cut them down to 6 centimetres, and then the outside edge, I'm going to cut that down to 7 centimetres. The reason why I'm doing 7 centimetres for outside edge is because I've ripped down enough wood so I can use it on other projects as well. So I'm going to get that done now. Now that I've got everything planed down and ripped down to size, I can now head over to the miter saw and start putting some angles on these things. So we'll go and do that now. Right, I'm going to set my miter saw at 22.5 degrees, and I'm going to start making the cuts for the insert part of the Christmas tree. So I'll do first cut and show you, because you basically want to make your first cut and then flip it, make your second cut to create your first little triangle, and then each piece then will just gradually start getting bigger and bigger as you're taking the measurement from the bottom part of the triangle. So I'll show you that now. Right, so I've cut my first piece of the tree. So what I'm going to do is just line that up on top of there like that, and then I'm going to put a little mark there, and then I'm going to make that cut, and so each time you're adding a piece on, you're just making that triangle shape bigger and bigger. All my pieces are cut now, that's formed the triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly tie them up with some 240 grit sandpaper, and then when I've done that, I'll be able to take the measurements for the framing of the triangle. The reason why I haven't put like a cut list on this video is because these trees can just that you make can be any size you want. You might not choose to have strips at 6 centimetres, yours might be wider, they might be thinner, your trees might be bigger or they might be smaller. So basically, once you've cut and you've made that triangle shape that you're wanting, then you can take the measurements of the outside of the triangle and make your frame for it based on them measurements. So it's going to be different depending on what size tree you make. Now you've got this triangle shape, what I did next was I took the measurement from the widest part of the bottom of the triangle, and I cut this piece first to size. Then when I've cut that piece, I can then line that up and take a measurement from the bottom part of the frame to the tip of the triangle to cut the next piece, and then I can take the measurement from the bottom part of this bottom frame piece to the tip of the side, the other frame piece that runs up the side of the triangle. So I'm going to do that now. Also, what I did is I nailed in at the side and put the insert pieces smack bang in centre, just so if it stood in the middle of a table, no matter which way it is on the table, the tree just looks exactly the same from both sides. If you're not planning on putting yours as like a table centerpiece and you're just wanting it on the shelf or something like that, you could, I mean, if I just use this for example, you could run a strip of wood up there and nail that in place to keep them all together, and then insert it all as one. But that's totally your preference. Like it's your build, it's your project, so you can just do whatever you feel's best. Right, I'm back over at the miter saw and I've still got my angle set at 22.5 degrees centimeters. So whilst it's at that angle, I'm going to make my first cut for the bottom part of the frame, and then when I've made that cut, I'm going to take it over to my triangle and then I'll mark a line for where the next cut needs to be, just so I know I've got a nice accurate measurement. Right, I've lined it up with the bottom piece, so it's nice and flush on the end there. This is where I've cut my angle, so that angle matches there. So all I'm going to do is mark a little line there, so I can take that over to the table saw now and cut along that line, and then I've got my bottom piece set, and then I can make the next cut then after that. I've just taken another one of my pieces of wood. I've done the same again. I've cut a 22.5 degree angle on one end, and I'm going to line that up with the piece that's already in place to get my next measurement. Now that I've got my line marked off for my next cut where the tip of the tree is, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the angle on my miter saw to 45 degrees. I'm going to make that cut, and then we'll move on to the next piece. Right, so my second piece is all cut now. Because my miter saw is now set at 45 degrees, I'm going to make that cut first. So I'll make that cut, and then I'll be able to make the mark for where the bottom corner of the tree is going to be. So I'll do that now. Right, this is my final piece now, so I just need to mark a line here, make that cut. I'll be cutting this at 22.5 degrees again, like this, like I did at this side, and then after we've done that, we can move on to cutting the base and the little block here that basically acts as the trunk of the tree, really. So miter saw set 22.5 degrees, so let's make this final cut. All the framework's cut now, so I can move on to cutting this bit, the block bit, the trunk and the base. But before I do, I just want to add that every time you're doing a cut, just make sure that your cuts, your angles are going in the opposite direction like that. You don't want them basically going parallel with each other. Right, I've got my miter saw still set at 22.5 degrees. I'm going to make the first cut, flip it over, make the second cut. Because it's size at tree, I found that 13 centimeters were a good size to cut the base at, so I'm going to do that now. If I'm making my tree smaller, I'd make the base smaller, and then likewise if it were bigger, I'd make the base bigger. You don't want to have a big tree with a small base, and vice versa, a small tree with a big base. So yeah, just however big you make your tree, just try and make a judgment on what you think could be a reasonable size base. Right, so I just wrote from my scrap pile, and I've just found piece of 2x2 like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm basically just going to cut a little block off and just tidy it up a bit on miter saw. I'll be setting me angle back to 0 on this, and just when you're doing this, just make sure you're careful. Your fingers are going to be close to the blade, so we don't want no accidents, do we? Right, I've got all my pieces cut now. With the little block that I cut for the stump, there's no exact measurements to it, but just in case you were wondering, mine's basically just a cube that's 4.5 centimeters by 4.5 centimeters, and then it's literally like just over 3.5 centimeters high. But like I say, just have fun with your project and just be creative. Do it however you want. If you're wanting to have a smaller tree stump or a longer one, do that. And yeah, have fun. So what I'm going to do now, before I start putting everything together, basically the base, the block, and then the pieces that create the frame of the tree, I'm just going to stain that, stain all them pieces, and then when it's dry, I'm going to give it a light sand over with some 240 grit sandpaper, just to give it that bit of a worn look to it, to create that like nice farmhouse feel about it. The stain that I'm going to choose for this one, I'm going to go for some French oak. It's by a brand called Little Fairs. I've had quite a few different colours of that brand, and they've all been really good. One brand that I do recommend, I use this for when I did my autumn video for colouring in pumpkins and stuff like that, was this tangerine one. Obviously I'm not going to use this bright orange on a Christmas project, but that's a brand called Village Green, and I do highly recommend that. And I think going forward I'm going to be getting a lot of colours in that brand, but for now I'm just going to use what I've got. So I've got all them pieces stained up, and now what I'm going to do is take my middle piece of the triangle and I'm going to head over to my laser engraver. I'm then going to just basically do a little bit of a Christmas message on there. Right, all my pieces have dried that I've stained now, so what I'm going to do now is just take some 240 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to give it a quick rub down on each piece, just to give it that more like weathered, worn look to it. It just creates that nice little farmhouse rustic feel. So that's all the pieces now roughed up a bit with sandpaper. As you could see, I didn't go mental with it. I weren't looking for the perfect finish. I was just basically scuffing edges up really more than anything else. So now that's all done, I can just move on to now applying a bit of glue and firing some nails in and putting it all together. Apologies, but I forgot to press record. All I've done is I've just basically just fixed that together with some glue and nails. So yeah, let's just crack on with putting the rest of it together now. Okay, I've got all that fixed together now, so before I start putting all the inserts in, I'm going to quickly finish this off with a bit of beeswax, just so it's got a nice finish to it, and then when that's done, then I can start putting the inside bits in place. So it's had a nice coat of wax on it now. All that's left to do is put the insert pieces in, and then that's a completed project. Okay, so that is another finished project. I'm chuffed to bits with this. I think they look really nice. Obviously this one's the French oak version. This one was ironstone grey version. Let me know which one you prefer in the comment section below. And also, if you've enjoyed the video, please smash that like button. I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I think I've got like just over 400 subscriptions now. It's completely free and it just helps me out. And yeah, I really am grateful. I think it's actually mind-blowing that I've got this many subscribers so far. Like, I never expected it, so I'm really overwhelmed by it all. And all your comments have been like really nice comments, so I really appreciate that too. But until next time, this has been 1911 Woodworks, and I'll see you in the next video.